Okay, this is a guide for creating native language lessons. First, there's a flowchart. Now, if you look at the top left-hand corner, there's a red circle there, and this is going to be an introduction to how to use the material properly. Then special characters, pronunciation guide with sample words for pronunciation, greetings, and greetings drills with native speakers. Now, the first lesson is going to be a dialogue in Lakota only, in the target language only, with the text in Lakota and English, then grammar notes, vocabulary to supplement the dialogue, and then drills to supplement the dialogue, or based on the dialogue, expanding on it. Then, of course, there are going to be exercises. Now, if the student completes the exercises successfully, then they'll move on to lesson 2, but if not, they'll go back and repeat until they can do it smoothly, just because mastery is the most important thing. And here you can see the flow chart. So then lesson 2 is going to be another dialogue, a little bit more complex, with advanced pronunciation guide. You can have that, cultural notes, short listening exercises, maybe a short song, and again, grammar notes, vocabulary, and drills, expanding on that dialogue. And again, it's going to be, if you finish it, complete it well, then you move on to lesson 3, but if not, you go back and repeat it. And here we can see that. So the idea is that each lesson or dialogue becomes a little bit more complex and a little bit more involved with grammar and vocabulary, gradually taking into account the difficulty that the student is going to have, and not to discourage them, in fact to encourage them and motivate them. So FSI began, it's the Foreign Service Institute language program in the 1960s during the Cold War to teach diplomats and foreign workers to be fluent in over 100 languages, programs that they had. Very involved, very long. But then later Barron's Scholastic came out with the Mastering Series, which was based on that FSI program. Very thorough, very good. Then Hippocrene Books came out with a shorter version of this with dialogues only in the native language on in the audio portion, and then text with grammar notes and translations. So the FSI language lesson plan or outline is basically an imitation method. An imitation method or imitation of native speakers speaking naturally, as if they're having a conversation with all the emotion and everything, very natural. This method uses natural sounding Lakota conversations to teach Lakota with minimal English. You don't need English to teach Lakota, you just need Lakota. All lessons are based on dialogues by native speakers. The rest of the content for each lesson supplements this dialogue. So it's all based on the dialogues. Lessons based on dialogues offer the student insight into context, usage, intonation, and the expression of emotions in that language. Lessons are conducted in Lakota only from the first day. The supplemental text contains written explanations in English that the student can reference. Dialogues are based on useful phrases and are spoken by native speakers at a normal speed, then a slower speed with vocabulary pronounced 2 times, again with the dialogue at slower speed, and then once more at normal speed. And this allows the student to really get it. Dialogues are memorized by the student by saying them, not the other way around. They don't memorize all this grammar and vocabulary and stuff. They just say them. And if you say it enough, you'll get it. Grammar notes and vocabulary notes explain usage and expand on the dialogue. Drills practice sentences from the dialogue and expand on them, so you can really get a lot of variation in there and for every situation. Supplemental vocabulary for the dialogue appears in the grammar notes. So all audio drills are at normal conversation speed in normal intonation and are done by the student with the book closed with a full voice, like you're actually having a real conversation with all the intonation. Lessons are simple in the beginning with short, simple words, phrases, and short drills. The lessons gradually become more difficult with longer, more complex dialogues, longer and more complex drills. This is very important. The student progresses slowly and masters each lesson before continuing to the next lesson. This can't be emphasized enough, that you gotta master each one. The gradation of difficulty for each lesson should encourage and motivate the student, a balance of meeting new challenges with new skills. So as to keep them going. And I'll give you an example. Don't just give them the bottom sentence at once. First you give them the one word, wopila, 2 words, wopila hecha, then wopila tanka hecha, then lila wopila tanka hecha. It makes it easier for the student. On the audio portion for lessons, English is used only to indicate the lesson number or drill letter. So it would be drill A, whatever, and then the rest is in Lakota. At the end of the program, the student can speak Lakota naturally, responds quickly with proper pronunciation, intonation, and emotional content. But if you're just going to want to do a short language video, just maybe you could give a little introduction to some special sounds, offer a short dialogue at normal speed, and then maybe break it up a little bit, make it easy for them. Some grammar, vocabulary, some variations. Remember, speak only in the native language and provide written English translation. So, thanks for watching.